Many people ask, how do I know when I'm ready to retire? We all know the money piece. We all stress on the money piece. We calculate, we recalculate. Maybe we see a personal advisor. But how do we know when we are mentally ready to retire? In this video, I'm going to share with you some of my quiet retirement, how I pictured my retirement and what it looks like. And maybe you can see if you are ready or what your dreams look like in the future. I hope this helps someone today. Hi, I'm Bonita and I am early retired. I'm not old enough yet for Social Security. I'm living on a low income and I am living off of savings. I live in Kansas on a farm and I have a donkey. This is Brownie. I have frugal videos all year round, and I hope that you will join me this year as we share ways to save money and live our dreams. No matter what your age, sometimes your mind can just venture off into what would it look like if I didn't have to go to work every day? And sometimes these thoughts get more and more intrusive as you reach your upper 40s, maybe your early 50s, and then you just start thinking about nothing else. When can I retire? Can I retire early? Do I need to wait until I'm 62, 65, 67, like they say that we need to do? And as I reached my late 40s, I really didn't think much about retirement. I figured I would work it all the way through until I could draw Social Security. But then in my 50s, I started thinking I need to plan a little bit. I need to think about what would I do with my free time? I've never really had free time. A lot of us haven't had much free time during our working lives. And then I started noticing changes in myself at work, changes where I was less engaged. I was less interested in the meetings and bringing forth ways to improve things. I just really wanted to just go to work, do my job, and come home, no drama. And that was totally different for me, that I wasn't that invested in what I was doing every day. It wasn't that I didn't care, that I didn't do a good job, because I did, but I just wanted it to end there. I wasn't as interested in making changes or listening to changes or adapting to changes. I tried to keep my mouth shut in meetings. I didn't suggest things. I just wanted to get through the day. And that may sound kind of pessimistic, but I think it's our way, our body's way, and our mind's way of transitioning into the next chapter of our life. And that is a less hurried life, a less demanding life, and a life where we actually get to choose every day what we want to do and how we want to spend it. Now, I've had some great examples over my life. I've had some aunts that went to every grandchild's game, no matter where it was in the state of Kansas, they were there. Every track meet, every concert, everything. And I watched them as I grew up and I raised my children, and I thought, I want to be that type of grandparent. I want to be the type that has the time to go to a game if it's at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Friday. I don't want to have to ask off every time I have a grandchild's game, because we all know that sometimes our bosses just don't really care about that. And it was hard enough to get off when my kids had ball games. But then when you say you have a grandchild, they're kind of like, well, why do you need to be there? You're not the parent. But I wanted to be that type of grandparent. And so I thought about those things as I reached my 50s, and I started thinking, what would it be like if I filled my days with the things I wanted to do? If I read, if I cooked, if I gardened, if I sewed, if I took walks, if I invested in myself for the first time in my life, what would that look like? And I got all of my excitement back that I had been lacking in my job. Many of you know that I grew up with Depression era parents. I had older parents. I was the youngest of four children, and there was a big gap between the third one and the fourth one. And I always wanted to be a younger parent so I could do things with my kids. But when you're a younger parent, sometimes you become a grandmother before you are done working. And I became a grandmother at 37 years old. So, because of that, I couldn't be that type of grandparent that I had envisioned myself to be until later in life. And when I retired at 57, I wanted to be able to do all those things, to go to all those events and be available for those things. I wanted to retire early enough that I could travel and do things that I wanted to do as well. And many of you know right now I'm in North Carolina staying with my 17-year-old grandchild. He's the third from the oldest, and I am staying with him while his parents travel abroad. And because of me retiring early, I am getting to now do some of those things that I always wanted to do. But all of us have different pictures of our retirement. I wanted to travel, and you know that I do travel, and I wanted to be able to travel while I was young enough to still enjoy it. My dad worked until he was upper 70s, and then he wasn't able to travel anymore, which was one of his favorite things to do. So, being able to do some of those things in your retirement that you picture and you dream of are so important. And as your mind takes you that direction, it becomes easier and easier to envision how you're going to spend your days, how you are going to enjoy your retirement, whether you want it packed with some travel and also some quiet times, some hobbies, some leisure activities, some exercise, and also some dreams and bucket list items that you want to do. Quiet days of retirement can refer to various aspects of a peaceful and unhurried retirement life, including enjoying leisure activities, pursuing hobbies, spending time with loved ones without the pressures of work. It also includes a sense of freedom from the demands of work and a focus on self care and personal enjoyment. And spending time with my grandson gives me the opportunity to be able to spoil him a little bit since he lives in another state and I don't see him as often as I would like. I've been doing some home cooked meals for him this week, and you know how 17-year-old boys like to eat. It is strange how so many of us are so similar and we don't realize it. There's actually a term out there called quiet retirement, where senior employees start to disengage and be less interested in their job and just start floating through that last year or two before they actually put in their notice. This is a natural transition for us, and when I was going through it, I just thought, what is wrong with me? Am I depressed? Am I just tired of this job? I mean, why am I feeling like this? I've never felt like this before. And it was an actual normal transition into me wanting to retire. And I didn't realize that. I thought something was wrong with me. It may take you a little while to adjust to retirement because you're no longer doing that hustle and bustle of everyday life, or you may just slide right into it like I did. By the time I'd spent that last 2.5 years at work, disengaging, doing my job, going home, doing again tomorrow, and just dreaming about what I wanted my life to look like, I slid right into it comfortably. Some people really have to work at that because they have just pushed themselves so hard during their life that they don't know what to do with their free time. I even sat down and made a list of things that I would want to do when I had the free time: read, put on makeup, fix my hair, experiment with nail polish. Some of the things were just so simple, easy, day to day things. but I'd never had time to really enjoy them before. Everything I did was rushed. And I just slid into that so comfortably. And I thought, I'm not going to feel guilty about this. I'm not going to feel guilty about sitting down with a book and reading it, or spending time just sitting outside listening to the birds. These are the things I've missed out on all these years, that I was having to clock in, clock out, be somewhere by a certain time, get this deadline met. And now I am just going to soak up this luxury living of quiet retirement. Even if I am vacationing, I am just going to soak it up. It's okay if I spend most of my time sitting outside by the pool, drinking my coffee, or sitting down by the ocean and just watching the waves and listening. That's what we did most of our vacation in Florida. As my husband said, we just let the days come as they would. And there is such freedom in that. Now, if you have things where you want to be involved and you want to volunteer and you want to pursue new hobbies, maybe even a small side business of your own, that's okay too. Your retirement can be however you dream for it to be. But I encourage you, start dreaming early. Start deciding what you want to do and how you want to spend those days, because it makes that transition from the work life to retirement so much easier than just today I'm done and now what do I do tomorrow? What am I supposed to do? And the trick is, you're supposed to do whatever you want to do. You're supposed to love your retirement. You've earned it. Enjoy it. Sit back, put your feet up, get that cup of tea, listen to the birds, and relax. Any type of retirement that you enjoy is the right kind of retirement. As I sit out here on the screened in porch listening to it lightly rain, I think this is how I always pictured my retirement to be. I'm in North Carolina. I'm staying with my 17-year-old grandson, and I am enjoying house sitting so much. And this is my retirement.